Hello, good evening and welcome to Business here on Joy News Prime with me, Beverly Broom. We go straight to our very first story, and the Liquefied Petroleum Marketers Association has entreated the government to reduce taxes on LPG while stabilizing the local currency to sustain the marginal price reduction of the commodity at various outlets. According to the association, if steps are not taken to reduce the price of LPG, government's quest of improving the consumption rate of the commodity will be dashed. Their concern is coming at a time the price of LPG is expected to decline by roughly 5% from tomorrow. Speaking on Business Live, Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association, Gabriel Kumbi, noted that prices could decline as low as 5 to 7% from tomorrow, June 1.
I can confirm that the price of LPG is going to go down by about between 4 to 5% beginning tomorrow. If we are lucky, competition can drive that further to about 6-7%. So beginning tomorrow, consumers are expected to have some respite in the price of LPG. Over the past 2 weeks, the cedi has seen some appreciation. It has gained some strength over the US dollar. And the price of crude oil has also seen some decline. That has resulted in the price of LPG on the international market also going down. So these are the two main factors that has contributed to the between 5. We are likely to do about 7% beginning tomorrow. If the cedi is stabilized and crude oil price continues to see this downward trend, then we are likely to see a very consistent and continuous decline in the price of LPG. But if we are not able to stabilize the cedi and it begins to weaken against the US dollar, and then crude oil also begins to go up, then we are likely to see some upward adjustment in the price of LPG. But I have always said that it's the cedi that we have control. The price of crude oil, we have absolutely no control over that. So we will urge government to continue stabilizing the cedi, to continue doing the things that it has to do to improve the strength of the cedi against the US dollar. That is the only assurance that we can have, that the price of LPG will continue to go down. Of course, it depends on the net effect of the strength of the cedi as against the upward or otherwise of the dollar, upward trend in price or otherwise.
Now, the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation is hoping to begin onshore drilling at Keta Basin in the Volta region next year. This is part of moves by the National Oil Corporation firm to access oil and gas in the Voltarian Basin. Speaking to Joy Business, Executive Director for the GNPC Foundation, Dominic Edua, hinted that all efforts are being made to ensure the drilling is done without any negative environmental impact, since this will be the first onshore drilling to be done in the country.
GNPC is almost close to drilling on land. Yeah, that's what we call the Voltarian Basin project, covering close about 45% of the total landmark of Ghana. So you can understand, we can't sit aloof and just wake up to drill on land. We need to get that close engagement with the people. We need to let them understand that the proceeds from the oil is being used to benefit them already, so that they can be part of us as partners in development. So that's the essence of the foundation. That's what we've been doing for the past 5 years. As I mentioned, our target 5 years ago is to ensure that when a socioeconomic assessment is done, we should be able to beat our chest and say that we've impacted no less than 10 million lives in Ghana. And that's exactly what we are embarking on.
You did mention about the drilling. How soon are we going to see it? Because we've been hearing about it since.
Oh, as my chief executive has mentioned, he's everywhere, and he has said that his target, that's Mr. Opoku Dankwa, his target is to drill next year in the Voltarian. And a lot of work is being done.
Is it achievable?
Very much achievable. A lot of work is being done towards that.
Moving on, millions of SIM cards which have since not been linked to the Ghana card will be deactivated by the National Communication Authority tonight. According to the Chamber of Telecommunications, this figure includes SIM cards which have gone through only one stage of the registration process and those that have not been linked to the Ghana card at all. Meanwhile, fears loom over the possibility of funds in mobile money wallets of unregistered subscribers being locked up as a result of the distress action. But speaking on the marketplace, the Chief Executive of the Chamber of Telecommunications, Engineer Dr. Kenneth Ashibe, assured that the Bank of Ghana will later provide some directives on how such subscribers can retrieve their monies offline.
If you have not done the registration, and when we talk about registration, you should have done the biometric verification before the end of today. Otherwise, you'll be impacted. There are those who, if they have evidence to prove that they have gone for the Ghana card and they are yet to receive it, which means they will have a slip, they would have to provide that evidence to the NTA. And the NTA would be able to verify that. And then the NTA would then direct the telcos to then exempt that particular number from it. So you know that when it comes to mobile money, the regulator is the is the Bank of Ghana. So the Bank of Ghana has issued out directives to the mobile money operators, the EMIs, such that when these numbers are barred, the monies on those particular wallets and the information around it would have to be put in dedicated accounts, such that when the person comes wanting his money, the person would then have to provide all the necessary documents to be able to have access to his money. But that money will be had outside, it will not be on that particular number as a mobile money account. So what would happen is that if you are unable to register, or if you don't register, or you don't provide any information to the NCA by the end of day today, that would warrant you to be exempted. What will happen is that you can't access your mobile money account to be able to do transactions, but you'll be able to offline be able to go and collect your money that would be put on in particular accounts, which would be dedicated for that purpose.
Now, as part of missions to provide service to others, the Lion Club International District 418 Ghana says it will continue to support the health sector. According to the incoming president of the club, Lion Daniel Adzoble, the club will provide essential primary health care to the indigents of Lume in the Volta region. He spoke to Joy Business at the club's fundraising dinner dance in aid of a CHIPS compound.
The Lion Club, per se, we have international, we have global courses, mainly 5 of them. We do vision, we are interested in the environment, hunger, diabetes, and childhood cancer. So these are things that we do for the year. So mainly it will be the idea, but as a club, we want to take this project as our main impact project for the year. So while we are taking care of the global courses, we will look at the project as well. So what we'll do is that we'll advertise this on our social media handles with our bank account numbers and the mobile money numbers as well, with a story attached for people who are attached to this story should help us put it together in memory of our late brother.
Now, a section of the public is asking the government to account for all monies received from the country's donors to fight COVID-19. It's coming after the president pleaded for more time and support from Ghanaians to still collect the COVID health recovery levy as a tax. But People Joy Business has been speaking to say the government must account for all the funds received from the donors during the pandemic. Here's a report from my colleague James Ishin.
The government enacted the COVID-19 Health Recovery Levy 2021, Act 1068, to impose a special levy on the supply of goods and services and import to raise revenue to support the COVID-19 expenditures and other related matters. The COVID-19 Health Recovery Levy was applicable to both standard rate and VAT flat rate registered person. There have been a lot of conversation with respect to the levy on whether or not it should be scrapped. President Akufo-Addo in S29th address on Sunday declared an end to COVID-19 pandemic in Ghana, but emphasized the significance of the COVID-19 Health Recovery Levy in addressing the unforeseen expenses caused by the crisis. He recognized it might not be the most popular tax, but he appealed to the people of Ghana to comprehend the need for this levy during these challenging times.
Let me make it clear that COVID expenditures, essentially unplanned, have been subject at my instigation to audit by the Auditor General and are going through parliamentary processes. We all deserve to be reassured that the crisis was not used as a cover for corrupt practices. The COVID health recovery levy that was introduced to help fill some of the expenditure holes might not be the most popular tax, but I entreat all of you to bear with us. The COVID Trust Fund has performed an invaluable service, and with these developments has reached the end of its mandate. I thank the trustees as well as all donors and contributors to the fund. Going to the IMF was not part of the economic transformation agenda I'd been pursuing, especially as my government had gone the extra mile to bring to a successful end the IMF program we inherited from the previous government. But who would have imagined that President Akufo-Addo would order the closure of airports, offices, factories, or schools?
But some Ghanaians are calling for the scrap of this levy, indicating it's affecting their income.
The COVID levy should be scrapped off because I feel like it has performed the duty it wants to perform. When it came, even though we had help from outside and other places, we still took this levy. And the levy is so much on the country. In this economy that we are in now, it should be scrapped off so that we can venture our money into other things that will profit with the individuals. Then we still paying the levy and not getting anything back from it. Because at the end of the day, I don't think they are going to take in more vaccines. I don't think they are going to buy more sanitizers. No. So they should just scrap it off so that we venture our money into other places. I think the e-levy can cover that side. It's already taking e-levy, a whole percentage that we are not even seeing the accountability of that. So the COVID-19 levy, no. You should just scrap it off. You shouldn't try to play with our mind saying that it's going to push it to somewhere else. Then you should name it other way, not COVID-19 levy. Because already we are waiting for accountability on that, and that of the IMF loan that, I don't know if it's a loan they gave or it's free. Here we are. So you should just scrap it off. Or you should just name it, because he is good at naming things. You should just name it for us. I believe he's the president, and then he makes decisions for the country. So if him making decisions for giving us a free thing doesn't mean we shouldn't hold him accountable. Since he gave us free, after all, some perception will be like, we didn't call for free. You brought it. And I think it was a good initiative he made. But still, we need accountability for the man. You can't tell me you use that whole money for everything. No, yes, we know you run at a loss. If you run at a loss, we just want to see that, oh, you did it and you ran at a loss. You did it and then you had a surplus in our account. Then we go to know that, oh, okay, there's transparency in the country. And then we can push ahead and say, okay, then take the COVID-19 levy and then use it for a different thing. But you don't want to give accountability. No, you should come and account to us. And then we will decide whether the the COVID-19 levy should continue.
With the levy, I believe that as COVID-19 has been declared to end, I believe the president may want to find ways to probably end the levy. So we cannot say that the government still wants us to keep paying the levy or whatsoever. Probably he wants to declare an end to the levy as well. But it could also happen that the government may want to continue the levy so that it could channel it to some other profitable ventures that would benefit we as a country too. So I do not see anything wrong with the levy itself, because as Ghanaians, we would have to at least make some contributions to build our country. I believe that as part of governance, accountability is very good. It's a good thing. And in as much as we are calling on the government to be accountable, I think it's a step in the right direction for me personally, I believe our government has been accountable during even the time of the COVID-19 because it was always giving us updates, and I see that to be a part of accountability. So let's look ahead. I believe that the government would want to listen to the cause of its citizens. So it would probably come out with this kind of accountability that we are looking for. To break down what the monies were used for, it hasn't come officially from the government, but for some of us who were witnessing the developments during the COVID-19 period, realized that some were used to cater for the very poor people in terms of feeding, some were used for purchasing some of the COVID-19 vaccines and co. So technically, we saw that the money was being used. So as I'm saying, it's just for them to apply the figures to it that this is what was used for, and I believe it would come.
I don't think we are supposed to still be paying for the COVID-19 e-levy because now there's no COVID-19 as declared by WHO. There's no COVID-19 in the system, so I don't think we are supposed to be paying for this COVID-19 e-levy again because things have increased, prices have increased, inflation is in town. We are not supposed to be adding this also to our income also. So I think if it's scrapped off, it's going to be okay for us, and it's going to help the country also. And we should give it a different name, not COVID-19 e-levy. If you say COVID-19 e-levy, which means you're going to use it to pay for COVID-19 expenses, but then you using it for health sector, this one, something for health sector, name it a different thing. Then we would know this is what we are paying for.
Even though there is the president has declared an end to COVID-19 in Ghana, I think we should still be paying for the COVID-19 levy since the president has promised us that the funds will be channeled to the development in the health sector. And then I believe the government incurred some costs during the COVID-19. So I think we should be patient with the president this time around and still keep on paying this, the COVID-19 levy.
For me, I want it to be scrapped off. Since the president has already declared an end to COVID-19, I don't think there's a need for him to allow us to pay any levy on it. Yes, so it should be scrapped off. I want to know if it's going to be that feasible. So its feasibility will determine whether it should be maintained or scrapped off. Yeah. Let's say, for example, the motorway. I personally use the motorway all the time. There are potholes. Motorway, there's not supposed to be pothole, but there are potholes that causes accidents day in, day out. Yeah, so I'm not seeing any feasibility in the taxes that we pay to him.
World Bank Country Director Pierre Laporte in 2020 revealed that the World Bank provided the government of Ghana $430 million to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. Also, Ghana and other countries benefited from the $650 billion fund from IMF to fight COVID-19 pandemic impacts.
So from what the president has said, my inclination is that the president wants to use the COVID-19 levy to increase revenue mobilization in the country. Where we find ourselves as a country in Ghana, we need to find a way to increase the revenue. The alternative for the government is probably go to parliament and change the name of the tax. That's all, and then you have to justify why that 1% still will have to still be there. That will probably settle the debate that is ongoing. But from the look of things, it has come to stay, and until we get out of these financial challenges we find ourselves in as a country, this 1% will still be on our books. If we strengthen the hand of the internal audit agency in the country and allow them to work, I'm sure we'll be able to find a way to stop this issue of accountability, which is not well done. That was, remember, it was a precondition from IMF that gave way for the 3 billion. We have still not even accounted for. We only accounted for the money we received, but not the one coming from the VAT component, this 1%. And I'm sure a lot of, even the president admitted it in his speech, that people use it to perpetrate some mismanagement of funds. But I'm sure the audits will be able to bring a lot of these facts out. If the core system works very well, and those who went foul will be taken to court, and they'll probably ask them to pay back the money that they took.
Some want accountability of all these monies received during the fight against the pandemic from the World Bank, International Monetary Fund, and other European partners.
We don't see what it's being used for. There's no accountability for the money. So for me, I think it should be scrapped off. Maybe if government will tell us that, okay, we've used the 1% COVID tax for this, and we can all see that this is what it is, or maybe we've used that money to do this or that, then we will know that at least the money we are paying, we are seeing the benefits of the money. But here lies the case that we are not seeing anything the money is being used for, and then we are being asked to pay. So for me, I don't think it's really important to. I don't even want to relate it to the water, free water and free electricity, because every government have budget for the year. And I mean, sometimes we student leaders, we have budgets, but sometimes we make provisions for any other things. So I'm sure the money that we receive from WHO and then any other governmental or non-organizational firms that supported COVID-19, those money, we don't even know the total amount of those money. So we can't even say that the government use that money for the free water and free electricity. So to me, it doesn't still count. So we see that government is using the COVID-19 tax for this. It still doesn't count for me. Yeah. It should be a structure, or I don't know how to put it, like a plan that, okay, we are using this money for this, and this is what we are going to do. And then there should be a pictorial or graphical presentation of the thing that you want to do, so that we, the citizens of the country, will know that, okay, at first we didn't see what the money is being used for, but now the government is saying that I want to use the money for this, and then we'll be like, okay, then we'll still continue to pay, because that's how I see it to be.
The government is supposed to be a representative of the people, and of course we've thrusted our resources for them to use. So in order for them to carry the country along with them, they should be able to account to us. Let us know what the monies they've accumulated, the monies they've been able to collect from us are being used for. If that is not done, I mean, you hear a lot of Ghanaians make assertions that the money they've collected is actually used for nothing, and they don't even see the essence of the COVID-19 levy. But if we are well accounted to, where the monies that have been accumulated are explained to us what they've been able to use it for, I think we'll actually give them applause for that kind of innovation.
Well, I believe the president should be accountable for all the monies being paid due to COVID-19, because it is the money of the Ghanaian people. So if Ghanaians are calling for accountability, I believe the president should should be accountable for all the monies, whether donation or even the COVID-19 levy. The president should be accountable, whatever income they are making and whatever they are channeling their money into. They should be accountable for whatever they are using their money for.
Proper decision making, there should be a good accountability. So if you're not making accountability for any income or expenses that you make, I don't think you're able to make good decisions that is going to have a great impact on the current generation and future generation to come.
The levy is a levy, and I'm sure it's everybody in a way paid for it. So I'm not excluded. I pay for it anyway. And it affected me because you're going to pay for something in a mall and you realize that you're paying for the levy. I mean, the prices is shooting up, and maybe with the current inflation and all that, imagine how much you're spending on something you're not supposed to be spending on. Yeah, so it impacted me on my spending levels, yeah.
According to the Ministry of Finance fiscal data released on April 22nd, 2022, the government collected 773.93 million Ghana cedis in revenue from the COVID-19 health recovery levy imposed in 2021. This amount received between May and December fell approximately by 12.7% short of the 889.09 million Ghana cedis budget target. However, expenditures related to COVID-19 and its effect totaled over 2.8 billion Ghana cedis for the previous year.
And that's a report filed by my colleague James Ishen. And that's our package for tonight. For more business news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com/business. I am Beverly Broom. Have a good evening.